2024 is shaping up to be another incredible year for animated movies in theaters and on streaming services. With the new year underway, let's look towards this exciting slate in the 2024 Cartoon Movie Preview. Kicking off 2024 on February 2nd, DreamWorks Animation's Orion and the Dark will exclusively hit Netflix. Based on the book by Emma Yarlett and written by Charlie Kaufman, the movie follows Orion, your average elementary school kid. But underneath his seemingly normal exterior is a ball of adolescent anxiety, completely consumed by irrational fears. Of all his fears, the thing he's most afraid of is what he confronts on a nightly basis: the dark. So when the literal embodiment of his worst fear pays a visit, Dark whisks Orion away on a roller coaster ride around the world to prove there is nothing to be afraid of in the night. As the unlikely pair grow closer, Orion must decide if he can learn to accept the unknown and finally embrace the joy of living. The movie stars Jacob Tremblay and Paul Walter Hauser. Also on February 2nd, Paramount feature animation's The Tigers Apprentice will land on Paramount+. Based on Lawrence Yep's novel of the same name, the movie follows Tom Lee, a Chinese-American boy who discovers he is part of a long lineage of magical protectors known as the Guardians. Tom finds that in order to have a fighting chance against the evil forces that threaten the world, he must first bring the estranged Zodiac animal warriors back together as a unified team. It stars the vocal talent of Henry Golding, Lucy Liu, Brandon Suhu, Bowen Yang, Leah Lewis, Sandra Oh, and Michelle Yeoh. On March 8th, DreamWorks will release the long-awaited Kung Fu Panda 4 to theaters. Po was tapped to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, meaning he needs to quickly find and train a new dragon warrior before he can assume his new position. However, the Chameleon, a tiny lizard who can shapeshift into any creature, has her eyes on Po's Staff of Wisdom. In order to protect the Valley of Peace, Po finds help in the form of crafty, quick-witted thief Zen. This comedic odd couple will have to work together, and in the process, Po will discover that heroes can be found in the most unexpected places. The movie returns Jack Black to the role of Po, alongside other returning cast members Dustin Hoffman, James Hong, and Bryan Cranston. Joining along for the ride are Ke Kwan, Awkwafina, and Viola Davis. On May 24th, Sony's Columbia Pictures and Alcon Entertainment will release The Garfield Movie, the first fully animated theatrical feature based on Jim Davis's classic comic strip. Garfield, the world-famous Monday-hating, lasagna-loving indoor cat, is about to have a wild outdoor adventure. After an unexpected reunion with his long-lost father, scruffy street cat Vic, Garfield and his canine friend Odie are forced from their perfectly pampered life into joining a hilarious high-stakes heist. The movie stars the voice of Chris Pratt as Garfield, alongside Samuel L. Jackson, Hannah Waddingham, Nicholas Hoult, Brett Goldstein, Harvey Guillen, Cecily Strong, Bowen Yang, and Ving Rhames. Also on May 24th, Disney's 20th Century Studios will release Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the next installment in the beloved franchise, to theaters. Set nearly 300 years after the events of 2017's War for the Planet of the Apes, many generations following Caesar's reign, apes are the dominant species living harmoniously, and humans have been reduced to living in the shadows. As a new tyrannical ape leader builds his empire, one young ape undertakes a harrowing journey that will cause him to question all that he has known about the past and to make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike. Much like previous installments, Kingdom utilizes state-of-the-art motion capture performance and animation technologies for its primate characters and aims to kick off a new Apes trilogy. It stars Owen Teague, Freya Allen, Kevin Durand, Peter Marcon, and William H. Macy. On June 14th, Disney will release Pixar's long-awaited Inside Out 2. The movie returns to the mind of newly minted teenager Riley, just as headquarters is undergoing a sudden demolition to make room for something entirely unexpected: new emotions. Joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, who've long been running a successful operation, aren't sure how to feel when anxiety shows up, and it looks like she's not alone. The movie returns returns the voices of Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, and Lewis Black, with Maya Hawke, Tony Hale, and Liza Lapira joining the cast. Also worth noting, across 2024, Pixar will also release 3 movies to theaters for the very first time, after dumping them on Disney Plus for free during the pandemic. 2020's Soul will release on January 12th, 2021's Luca will release on February 9th, and 2022's Turning Red will release on March 22nd. On July 3rd, Universal Studios will release Illumination's Despicable Me 4. While no trailer or synopsis has been released for this one yet, lead actor Steve Carell has promised the movie will follow one of Gru's wildest adventures yet, as he and the family fight together in the Anti-Villain League. The film will of course return Carell to the role of Gru, with other returning cast members including Kristen Wiig, Miranda Cosgrove, and Steve Coogan. Pierre Coffin is expected to return as the Minion. On September 13th, Paramount Animation and Hasbro will release Transformers 1. This animated prequel movie is set to be an origin story set on Cybertron, and is said to focus on the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron. The movie will star the voices of Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry as Prime and Megatron respectively, alongside Scarlett Johansson, John Hamm, Keegan-Michael Key, and Lawrence Fishburne. On November 27th, Walt Disney Animation has scheduled their next animated feature film. Unusual for Disney, the movie is yet to be announced or even titled, leading to speculation that 2024 could be without an animated feature, especially following Disney's string of project delays following last year's writers' strike. One potential release could be the in-production Zootopia 2, which is said to have already had test screenings, though it's unlikely this one will be released so soon. On December 13, Warner Bros. And New Line Cinema is set to release The Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim to theaters. This anime feature, the first of its kind for a Lord of the Rings project, is set 183 years before the events chronicled in the original trilogy of films. It sees a sudden attack by Wolf, a clever and ruthless Dunlending lord seeking vengeance for the death of his father, who forces Helm and his people to make a daring last stand in the ancient stronghold of the Hornburg, a mighty fortress that would later come to be known as Helm's Deep. The movie features the vocal talent of Brian Cox as Helm, while Miranda Otto reprises her role of Eowyn from the live-action film series. On December 20th, Walt Disney Pictures will release Mufasa: The Lion King, the prequel to their $1.6 billion earning live-action Lion King feature. While Disney is yet to announce an official synopsis, one that has been floating around the internet claims the movie will follow the rise of one of the Pride Land's greatest kings, who returns to the savannah where Rafiki tells Kiara, Simba and Nala's daughter, the story of her grandfather, while Timon and Pumbaa add colourful commentary. If true, the movie sounds to be a cross between the two traditionally animated Lion King sequels by Disney Toon Studios from the late 90s and early 2000s. The movie will utilise the same photorealistic animation technology as the 2019 feature, also using motion capture performance. It's said to star Aaron Pierre as Mufasa, alongside Calvin Harrison Jr., Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, and John Carney. Also on December 20th, Paramount Pictures will release Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the latest in the popular animated live-action hybrid film series based on the Sega video games. Similarly, no official synopsis has been revealed for this one, but it has been confirmed that it will see the live-action debut of classic Sonic villain Shadow the Hedgehog. Ben Schwartz is expected to return as the voice of Sonic, while Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Idris Elba are likely to return as Tails and Knuckles respectively. In live-action roles, James Marsden is predicted to return as Tom, though given Jim Carrey's retirement from acting, it's possible he won't be back for a third round as Dr. Robotnik. 2024 will also see a great selection of animated adventures headed to streaming services. While none of these have yet been dated or detailed substantially, here's a look at some of the most exciting ones expected. The first in a line of upcoming SpongeBob SquarePants spin-off movies, Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie from Nickelodeon, is expected to hit Netflix. As Bikini Bottom and all of its denizens are suddenly scooped out of the ocean, Sandy Cheeks and SpongeBob SquarePants journey to Texas to save the town from a villainous plot. It stars Carolyn Lawrence, Tom Kenny, and the rest of the regular SpongeBob crew, alongside Wanda Sykes, Johnny Knoxville, Craig Robinson, and Grey DeLisle. Likewise, an Untitled Wallace and Gromit movie is set to hit Netflix globally and the BBC in the UK from Aardman Animation. Nothing is known of this project just yet, but it will be the second feature to continue the adventures of Aardman's hallmark characters who first debuted in 1989. It's said by Aardman to be an exciting new story. Walt Disney Pictures is also set to release their latest live-action adaptation, Lilo and Stitch, based on the classic 2002 animated feature. In the original film, a young and parentless girl adopts a dog from the local pound, completely unaware that it's a dangerous scientific experiment that's taken refuge on Earth and is now hiding from its creator and those who see it as a menace. The movie stars Maya Kealoha as Lilo, with Chris Sanders returning to voice Stitch. It also stars Tia Korea, Billy Magnussen, and Zach Galifianakis. Apple TV Plus is set to release the latest film from Skydance Animation, Spellbound. Directed by Shrek's Vicky Jensen and featuring new music from Glenn Slater and Disney legend Alan Menken, Spellbound is set in a world of magic, where a young girl must break the spell that has split her kingdom in two. It features the voices of Rachel Zegler, Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, John Lithgow, and Nathan Lane. In late 2024, Netflix is also set to release The Witcher Sirens of the Deep, an animated spin-off of their popular live-action series. Geralt of Rivia, a mutated monster hunter, is hired to investigate a series of attacks in a seaside village, and finds himself drawn into a centuries-old conflict between humans and merpeople. He must count on friends, old and new, to solve the mystery, before the hostilities between the two kingdoms escalates into an all-out war. Doug Cockle will reprise his role of Geralt from the Witcher video games. Also in late 2024, Netflix is set to release Richard Curtis's That Christmas from Locksmith Animation. Written by popular British writer Richard Curtis of Love Actually and Notting Hill, the movie follows a series of entwined tales about love and loneliness, family and friends, and Santa Claus making a big mistake, not to mention an enormous number of turkeys. No voice cast has yet been announced. And at that is all of the major animated movie releases for 2024. As always, join the conversation down below and let me know what you're most and least excited to check out this year.